In today's episode, we will address the topic, is consciousness difficult or are people just lazy? Welcome to Dare to be Conscious, the podcast that gets you to change anything with ease. I'm Ruby Pichel, and I'm your host. Today's question, is consciousness difficult or are people just lazy? Now, what kind of question is that? And what do you mean? Are people just lazy? Doesn't everybody want to be more conscious or have a flow in life where things are easy, no pain, no struggle, no drama? It has nothing to do with being lazy, people say. And I say, most people don't want to be more conscious. And it has everything to do with being lazy. Let's dive in. In this episode, I will offer you the 3 C's if you dare to be conscious and stop being lazy. The 3 C's are commitment, consistency, and choice. Commitment. Are you 100% committed to you? Consistency. Are you showing up every day? And choice. Just choose, even if you think it's the wrong choice. Now, commitment. What do I mean when I talk about commitment? And are you 100% committed to you? 100% committed to you is, what are you willing to be? And are you willing to show up as you? And when you ask the question, are you willing to show up as you? The other question that comes up is, who am I? Who am I? And what is my job here on Earth? And most people are not willing to entertain that question because they feel like they're never going to get the answer. And that's exactly it. You will not just get an answer. You will not just download some kind of manual where you get to remember who you are exactly, what you came here to do, what your job is, what's the special gift that you've been given. What's your special talent? If only it were that easy. So asking the question, are you 100% committed to you, is going to allow for that to come into your awareness. If you're not willing to be committed to you, everything that you need to know, everything that you need to remember, you won't become aware of it. And that's why asking the question is so important. Am I committed to me? Am I 100% committed to me? Yes or no? Well, if it's a yes, great. If it's a no, well, what would it take to be willing to be 100% committed to me? And what does that mean if I'm 100% committed? What does that look like? What will show up? What would I have to be or do? And here's where we get to the core of those things. When I was talking about, are people just lazy? When you get to the part where you're choosing consciousness and you are willing to remember who you are, it comes with all kinds of information. It comes with everything that you need to know in order to become who you truly be. And that means willing to receive everything, willing to receive that information. And that information also comes with information that we actually don't want to know. And when there are things that we don't want to know, we don't get to see it, because that's how the universe works, right? The universe works in a way where you receive what you are willing to receive. And if you are not willing to receive a part of the information, you will not receive it. But it also means you don't have a clear view. It means you don't have total clarity of what it is that you need to know, that you need to receive in order to remember who you truly be. That when you truly become all of you, that's where you get to the sweet spot in life. And of course, you might think that all people want to get to that sweet spot in life. But the truth of the matter is, people actually don't. Because when you get in that sweet spot of life, it means you also went through the hardships. And it means you are getting to the point where you have your talent and you have your capacities. And your talent and your capacities are here to change things. And change is not always, do I want to say easy? Well, it can come with ease, but it's not always easy. Because change affects the people around you. And that all has to do with frequency. Because when we become a certain frequency and that frequency has a magnetic pull on other people, it means people that are willing to be around you have to choose that frequency as well. But if you choose to be around people that are not willing to choose that frequency, that's where you end up living in the struggle. Because many times we attach to family members and we attach to friends, we attach to jobs, we attach to all kinds of things that we are not willing to let go. But if those things or people are not meant to come with you in that other frequency, but you are not willing to let go, that's where the struggle begins. Now, going to the part of remembrance, what is remembrance? Why would you remember? What's the point in remembering? What should I remember? And what showed up for me was I had to be willing to choose an element of life that I wasn't willing to choose before. And an element of life is, for example, to be willing to receive judgment, or to be willing to receive, to be excluded, right? Nobody wants to be excluded, especially when you're younger. You just want to be a part of things, or you just want to be accepted. And especially for the past couple of years, I went through multiple experiences where I was being judged severely and excluded. And I've never had that experience. I mean, I was a sweet child. I came from a relatively good family. We weren't rich. Well, I think we could say that I come from a relatively poor family. My mother could take care of us. We had a roof over our head and we had food on the table, but that was basically it. But I was a good child. I got good grades in school. I had friends. I had lovely friends. I was never in trouble. I just went to school. I went to college. I never did anything with drugs, no alcohol issues, not smoking, nothing. I was somebody who was liked. And after I went to college, I got amazing jobs. Like I never had an issue of not being invited. I never had this place where I felt discriminated by the color of my skin or being a woman. I was just achieving. I was achieving, I was achieving, I was achieving. Apparently, I had not yet chosen the experience of being judged or being discriminated or excluded because that was just not part of my life. And this wasn't until I chose to be a part of a political group. This all happened during COVID times where there was this political group here that was not simply aligning and agreeing with all of the rules and regulations. This was a political party that was asking questions like how much of this is real and true? And should we really listen to all of this? Is it really the better choice to be vaccinated, or is there something else possible? And just by asking these questions and not just aligning and agreeing with what the authorities were saying, it made sense to me, right? We all have our own body, we have our own lives, we are sovereign beings. And when we're sovereign beings, we don't have to choose what other people say is the better choice. And in the world of consciousness, where we say consciousness includes everything and judges nothing, asking question creates awareness. Well, basically, who are you being? And you being this team with your body, and you asking your body, like, hey, body, what is it that you need? What is it that you require? Because let's be honest, if we wouldn't have a body, we wouldn't need anything, right? We're here on Earth. We have a life because we have a body. And because we have a body, we need food, we need clothing, we need, if we want to go from A to B and it's not a walking distance, we're going to need a vehicle. If we were just the energy that we be without a body, then we wouldn't need all these things. So asking the body, what do you require, became one of my basic questions in life, day to day. Body, what do you need? Body, do you want to eat? Yes or no? Body, do you want to go outside? Yes or no? What do you require? With everything, like even the clothes that I'm wearing, I wouldn't say, what do I want to wear today? No, it's body. What would you like to wear today? What kind of outfit are you comfortable in today? What do you like? What feels good for you? And the same happened during COVID times where I was just asking my body if it needed anything. And it just showed me exactly what I needed. So back to the story of being willing to be judged, be willing to receive the judgment, but also an experience of feeling excluded. Or maybe not feeling excluded, but being excluded, because I didn't really feel that. That wasn't my experience. So I supported this political party. That's how it started out. And then all of a sudden, while I was building my business, doing my things in the world of consciousness and facilitating and contributing to the evolution of consciousness, I was invited to join the political party. And I was asked if I wanted to take on a job as a city councilor. So we were going to join the elections, and I said yes to it. And I joined the team and I became a council member. And when I joined the city council and we were added to the list of all the other political parties that were there, people were not happy that we joined. People were not happy that I joined. I could read in newspapers because journalists were asking the different representatives of the political parties, like, what do you think? You know, this political party is joining the city council or they're joining the election. What's your opinion? And all of them, except for one, I have to give you the exception, all of them except for one, they were not happy with us joining the city council and possibly getting a seat. on the council board. And that was a time in my life when I felt rejected without them even knowing me. Like they had an opinion about me because of this political party. I could read things in the newspaper like, oh, what kind of person are they sending now? You know, we're wondering what kind of person would show up. And I was like, what kind of person would show up? Like it's me. And usually people were so happy to have me, right? Like I said, I was good in school. I went to college. I had all these different jobs. I was always the favorite colleague. People wanted to hang out with me. People wanted to work with me. People came to me for questions and advice. And then suddenly it's like, well, who is showing up here and what kind of person is this? Like all of the judgment. So I started to get to know different people on the board, the different political parties, the different representatives. And well, many of them turned out to be nice. Many of them in the beginning would hardly speak to me, but when they found out that I seemed normal or I didn't seem as bad as they thought I would be, you know, they started speaking to me, reaching out to me, introducing themselves to me. But still, it was hard being accepted, if you know what I mean. I know how I was in the midst of all that because I didn't join to get accepted. I had no intention of proving myself. I had no intention of changing my behavior or putting extra effort in being the good girl and the good girl that I know is always knew how to be. But I had no intention of doing that. I figured all I can do is be me. I can be me and take it or leave it. This is what you get. And I know myself, right? I am not a bad person. I've chosen to commit myself to me, to commit myself to consciousness. And I'm a servant of God. That's what I came here to be. And people's opinions don't make me, right? People's opinion do not determine who I am. But still, I went through this phase where I was not accepted. And then I went through this phase where I was tolerated. Yeah, you could use the word tolerated. I was tolerated because of not of who I am, but because of my behavior. Because like I said, all I could do was just be me. And when I'm being me and when I'm being all of me, I'm kind, I'm caring, sometimes funny even. And then people see that as the type of behavior that they like to see. So I was in a state of being tolerated, moving towards being accepted. It took some time, but it actually happened. Not without receiving all of the judgment. A judgment of what my political party was like, what the political party leader was like, what I must be like, what kind of person I must be to choose that. And then suddenly they were seeing me and they were like, well, seeing you and the way that you are, we cannot believe you would choose to be part of a political party that is so mean and so vicious, or have a political party leader that is a total jerk, basically. And I was like, do you really think that I would choose something like that if that were the case? If that was really true, would a person like me actually choose that? So back to being willing to receive the judgment and to be excluded. Today, it's not like that anymore. Tolerance moved to acceptance, and acceptance moved to inclusion for most people, right? Because there are still some people that include me behind the scenes, but not in front of an audience. Because there we get to the place where other people are still judging me or my political party, and people don't like to be judged. And if they hang out with me, they might be judged. So they'd like to skip that part. That's not my business. It's not something that I need to take care of. This was part of me 100% committing to me and allowing for things to show up that needed to show up in order for me to choose. No, things showed up and I needed to allow those things to show up so I could receive what I was not willing to be. I wasn't willing to be judged severely. I wasn't willing to be excluded because I wanted to be accepted. And in life, it's not about being part of a group or being liked or being accepted. And yes, when you are the being that you truly be, and you are choosing the goodness and the kindness and the greatness and the love and all that you be, that will become the experience again, but not before you experience the other side of the coin, if that makes sense. And that's the reason why some people wouldn't choose it, why some people wouldn't choose to be conscious or refuse to be something, because it also comes with the other side of the coin. But the fact is that this is your life. This is your life, and you chose to incarnate and to come to Earth and have this human experience. So what experience would you like? You get to choose. And that brings me to the part of consistency. Because if you're choosing to commit to you, are you showing up every day? Because the laziness, that is not part of not being willing to choose to be you. The laziness is, in order for us to become what we came here to be, we have to show up every day. To become aware of who you truly be, we have to ask questions, because questions create awareness. With a question, we open up the space to get more awareness. And the awareness will give us the vision. And the awareness of all the things that we already know, but we've pushed aside because we never really wanted to know, because it comes with all the other things of the other side of the coin. When we ask the question, we become aware of things. And when we become aware of things, that's how it gets clear for us. And to get more awareness, to get to the infinite choices that we have available, we have to ask questions. To ask questions, this could come in the shape of just sitting down every day and asking questions. That will create more awareness. I think this was on one of the videos or audios of Dane Heer in Access Consciousness, where he said, and this is what I heard fairly in the beginning when I was with Access Consciousness. He said, spend time on you for at least 30 minutes to an hour a day. Choose to spend time on yourself. Whether that's reading a book or meditating or taking a walk or whatever it is, spend time on you. And I remember thinking, oh, wow, 30 minutes to an hour on me? How do I even do that? Like, I am too busy. There's so much that I need to do. And I know that there are so many more people with me that are like 1 hour or 30 minutes to an hour every day on me. That's impossible. I have a job, I have kids, I have things to do, I have the house, everything. right? This starts by giving yourself just a few moments, just even if you would start, and that's what I teach people now, if they want to change things, at least give yourself 10 minutes a day to start with. 10 minutes a day, and just ask a few questions. Even if you would just ask, if we stick to the topic, like, what am I unwilling to be? Or what energy, space, and consciousness can I be that would allow me to show up as me? And I would say just ask that question 10 times in a row. Take some coffee, sit down, ask the question, and then start your day. And the thing is that if you choose that consistency, if you choose to show up every day, and if you choose to ask questions to get more awareness, that's where you start noticing the difference. That's where you start noticing that you sitting down with a cup of coffee for 10 minutes by yourself, sitting down, asking questions, and it opens up your awareness and other things show up, it's going to get easier. The more that you relax into it, the easier it gets for those 10 minutes to become 15 minutes, to become 20 minutes, to become that hour. And for me, it showed up as from going to work every day and being consistent with my job every day and doing emails and going to meetings and all these things that I needed to do, and the house and taking the kids to school and stuff like that. I moved to relaxation becoming my job, relaxation becoming my business. I made a business in consciousness. I made a business of doing energetic sessions. I made a business of connecting online with people internationally and doing sessions with them and changing their worlds. And so with everything that I did, asking questions and relaxation became a part of it. And sitting down and having that cup of coffee and asking questions or reading something, that became a part of my daily routine, even today, every day. Choosing to do a meditation when I really want to, even if it's in the middle of the day, that would be a part of my day. Choosing to not only just do a session with a client, but meeting a peer to just connect and swap sessions. That just happens. So basically what I'm saying, my choice was, I'm going to show up every day, even if I don't know if it works, right? I mean, people use this example all the time. You cannot try to lose weight and not do anything about it. You go to the gym and you just put your towel somewhere and you chat. It's not going to help you get in better shape. It's the consistency. It's the taking action on a regular basis. And this is exactly what this is. It's the consistency and taking action of not changing things. That's not the action. The action is, are you willing to ask a question? Are you willing to sit down and ask a question that creates awareness? Are you willing to sit down and receive that awareness and have it as information in your life so you can make another choice? And are you willing to make a choice? Because sometimes we're not even willing to make a choice, and not choosing is a choice too. And that brings me to the topic of choice. Because everything in life is a choice. An unconscious choice is a choice too. Not choosing is a choice too. And a conscious choice is a choice too. And I said this before, but a choice is not a doing. A choice is not an action. A choice is a willingness to be or do something. A choice creates awareness. Like I said, if you're not choosing, that's a choice too. So if you are choosing to not be something and you become aware of it, like I said, I was not willing to be judged severely. I was not willing to be excluded. I was not willing to have the experience of exclusion. And so with me choosing something else, I needed to go through the experience of being excluded and being severely judged. And that creates awareness. And before that, it also created awareness that I apparently was not willing to receive that. So my life couldn't show up for me completely. And when choice creates awareness, awareness will show the way. Because you will get an awareness of something that will lead you to your next choice and for you to choose again. And there's always more than one choice available. There are so many more choices available than many times the two choices that we think we have. Many times we think we have two choices. It's one or the other. It's staying or leaving. It's like in relationships, it's staying with someone or breaking up. Like you do not only have two choices. There's so much more available. How do you know what is available? By asking a question. What else is possible here? Universe, how does it get any better than this? And the amazing thing with asking these questions is the universe has to give you that awareness. It will answer you. It will just not always answer you in a way that you would expect it. The answer never shows up the way you think it will. It will never show up in a way where it makes sense to you. Maybe, like I said, you will not just get an email. That would be easy. You're going to have to be willing to receive the awareness or the answer that you get from the universe in a certain way. And you cannot decide which way it is. You're going to have to be open to receiving that message in all kinds of ways. And some of you might know what I'm talking about and how it can show up or how you can become aware of something. But many times, awareness is just a glimpse of something. It's a thought that we ignore. It's a feeling that we just deny. Or we think we're wrong. We think we could never have it that easy. We could never just know the answer because it has to be difficult. So the awareness shows up in all kinds of ways. You just have to be willing to receive it. And awareness is quick. It's like that. And the thing with that is, if we go to our heads, it's gone. And that's where most of you think that you don't know or that you're not getting anything. No, it's not that you're not getting anything. You are pretending to be slow when you are really fast. You picked up on something, you asked a question, the universe gave you something, it responded in a feeling, in a thought, in a picture, in a knowingness, in something that you're reading, and it arrived. You received it, perhaps unconsciously you received it, but you received it, and then you started going to your head and you started thinking about it. And this piece of awareness is not coming back because it was delivered and it was received. You accepted the message. You just didn't believe it or didn't think you could receive it, and that's how it passes you by. So think about that. Think about the part where, well, maybe I could ask, like, how aware are you? How aware are you already that you are not acknowledging? You are not acknowledging how quick you are, how easy you are receiving the messages of the universe, and how easily you're letting it pass you by because you think you're not capable. Because what if you are? What if you are so talented and so capable of receiving the messages of the universe, of receiving the awareness? So every choice would be easy. It would be easy to receive. It would be easy to see. It would make your next step completely clear and visible. But that only happens when we practice this day to day, when we commit to ourselves, when we make the choice to show up, when we are consistent in showing up and doing the thing that we need to do. I always say, life is a matter of being, not doing. But if there's something we need to do to be, it's to show up. And showing up is actually sitting down and asking a question. And just start by taking a cup of coffee and ask a few questions. Because that leads to awareness, and that leads to your next choice, the choice that is for your highest good. And I would probably have a completely new episode on choosing for your highest good. Like, what is choice, and how can you know that you're choosing for your highest good? Because basically, what I always say, when you get to make a choice, you choose with the energy. You choose for the energy. What kind of energy does it give you? Because that energy would match the life that you are meant to have. There's a whole exercise that we could do on perceiving the energy that you would like your life to be, and then matching that energy with the energy of every choice that you get to make. And then basically what I say, if it's not a fuck yes, it's a fuck no. And that one is easy because we all recognize the fuck yes. Because that one is so easy to get. And if it's not a fuck yes, it's a fuck no. And then some people would say, oh yeah, but there are good choices that are maybe less than a fuck yes, but still good choices, or something that I need to do, or just an experience that I need to have. And I would say yes. And that's a choice too. That's, you can choose to have lesser experiences. You can choose to do something that somewhat works or sometimes works or would take you longer to get to where you want to be. You can choose all of that. That is what free will is. You can choose all of that. But why would you? Why would you not go for the fuck yeses? And here is where people go into all these reasons and justifications why they can't. And I have to be okay with that. Now, if you're wondering where to start, just take the first step. No matter how small, just take one step forward and ask, what can I choose moving forward and reaching forward that would allow me to change this? Thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode. We are living in a world right now where showing up as you in remembrance of who you truly be is key. And for you to know that you are not your experiences. You are an infinite being. You are light. You are an essence of God having a human experience. That's all it is. And now, what kind of experience would you like to choose? And just choose it. Did you like this podcast? If you did, please give it a 5-star review. or share it with whoever you think might like it. I would be so grateful if this would reach whoever it needs to reach. And subscribe to my podcast if you want a notification when there's a new episode. Connect with me on social media and send me a message if you have any questions. The links are in the show notes. Thank you for what you are choosing in the world. You matter, and I love you.